Hello and welcome back. It is Bible story time. So remember, we are working our way through the Bible, and today we are at God's friend. So we are in the Lion Storyteller Bible again, and here is God's friend. So let's see what they have to say. Abraham was rich. He had lots of servants to do his work for him. He had lots of camels and sheep, and he lived in a very nice place called Haran. One day, God spoke to Abraham. "I want you to leave Haran," he said, "because I have a better place for you to live in." Now, Abraham might have said something like, "Where?" or "How far?" or "Thank you very much, but I'm quite happy here." But he didn't. In fact, he said nothing at all. He just gathered up his wife and his servants and his camels and his sheep and went where God led him. Why? Because Abraham trusted God. It was as simple as that. Canaan was the name of the place where God led Abraham, and a very nice place it was. A land flowing with milk and honey is what some people called it, which means that there were many cows and goats and bees there, and plenty of flowers and grass for the animals to eat. It was altogether a pretty place, and Abraham liked it very much. The only problem was that Abraham had no children, and besides that, both he and his wife Sarah were very old, grandpa and grandma old, and maybe even older than that. But Abraham trusted God. So one night God said to him, "Abraham, look up. Do you see the stars? One day you'll have so many children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren that counting the stars will be an easy job compared with counting them." Now Abraham looked down. "Do you see the ground? One day there'll be more members of your family than there are bits of earth on the ground." And what did Abraham do? He chuckled, that's what. He giggled, he chortled, he laughed. "Me and my wife have children?" He cackled. "We're too old for that." But God wasn't joking. "You will indeed have a son," he said, "and through your family I'll do something wonderful for the world." So Abraham trusted God, and it wasn't long before God sent 3 messengers to visit him. Abraham was very kind to them. He washed their feet, which was the polite thing to do in those days. Then he served them fresh baked bread and creamy beef stew. It was delicious, and as the visitors were patting their tummies and wiping their mouths, they said, "We'll be back next year, and when we return, Sarah will give birth to a son." Someone giggled, someone chuckled, someone laughed. But it wasn't Abraham this time. It was Sarah, who had been listening in the tent nearby. And the next year, when God's promise came true and the baby was born, there was laughter again. So much laughter, in fact, that laughter is what they decided to call their son. For that is what the name Isaac means. So here's our story of Abraham. Now, you might have heard of Abraham. He is a very trusting person of God. He listens to God. He loves God. And he would go where God told him to go because that is what he did. He knew that in his heart of hearts, God was the person to trust and to follow and to love and to be with. So when God said, "Up you get, you're going to a new place," that's exactly what he did. Up he went and off he went. There was no whys or ifs or buts or why me or do I really have to do this? Like, I'm quite happy here. Could you find someone else that maybe needs a better home? Like, mine's all right. Didn't do any of that. He just said, "Okay, let's go." And that meant going on a long journey. Now, the one thing that saddened Abraham and Sarah was their lack of children. They thought because they were faithful that they would have children, but they still trusted in God. Now, as the Bible said, they were old. They were very old. They were far too old to even consider that children could be a possibility now. Because when we get older, you can't have children. So our grandparents now can't have children because they are older. That's how our bodies work. So Abraham and Sarah were at that stage now where... Bless me, I do apologise. Abraham and Sarah were at that stage now where actually children just weren't even in the light. They still wanted them, but it wasn't possible for them to have them. But God said, actually, yeah, it is. Because anything through God is possible. And he knew that they were trusting and faithful. And he said, yeah, you're going to have kids. And they laughed and they laughed. They thought, no, that's not possible anymore. We've gone through our time of being able to have them. But God said, no, you are. You're going to have them. And true to his word, their son Isaac came along a year later, where his name is now called Laughter, because that's what they did when they were told they were going to have a son. They were over the moon but also shocked, but they trusted and followed God. Now, we might have that in our life. We might feel that God maybe is asking something of us. Maybe even at the time now where we're at home and we're thinking, I don't know how to be faithful to you, God, because this is just so bizarre. But actually we are called to trust God and to stay by God, and God has a plan. Even if we don't know what that plan is at the moment, God does. So Abraham didn't know what the plan was, but he still trusted, and that's what we can do. We don't know what the plan is, but we can still trust God that he has the plan, and the plan is right and worthy of our trust. So that is our lesson today, and I'll see you later. So let's pray. Dear God, we thank you that we can trust in you, that even when times seem hard, when we don't know what the plan is, we can trust you wholeheartedly. In your mighty name, amen. I'll see you later. Bye.